The Pixel 8 Pro is not a very appealing purchase to me, but I think I'm going to order one today, and I'm a little bit annoyed about it. When my wife needs a new smartphone, she just asks me to give her my old phone. My wife doesn't care that much about tech. I make sure that I take care of not only the battery, but the phones that I use so that when I'm done with the phone, it's in like new, or what I would say is excellent condition. Here in America, my wife works as a semi-permanent makeup artist. And if you're in Los Angeles and you need tattooing of your lips or eyebrows, comment and I'll hit you up. But she has to take tons of pictures and videos of her clients. Now, in Vietnam, the fact that she was using a Samsung device and Samsung's color science when she was using my old S20 FE, it made the skin tones of all of her clients look kind of yellow and just not the greatest. That changed when she started using my old Pixel 6a. That real tone or true tone, whatever Google's marketing term is for the algorithm that they use for people's skin tones, it's no joke. Like, it really makes people's skin tones look really, really flattering and really, really accurate. And my wife loves the performance and the overall color science of her Pixel 6a. But now she's had that device for almost a year, and it's time for her to upgrade. She needs a better camera system. She needs to take better video. And video is one thing that my Pixel 7a does pretty well. You're looking at it right now. This means that even though I'm still using this Pixel 7a, my wife has already bought a bunch of cases and accessories, and she's been bugging me to get a new phone. And I don't really see the value in buying another Pixel 7a, especially because I can't really use it to generate content on this channel. And over a year's time, the content that I make regarding the devices and using the devices ultimately kind of pays for the device. That means that I've been shopping for a new phone, and I want to talk about some of those options where why I would or why I wouldn't pick them. Now, this might be surprising, but I actually really wanted to get a OnePlus device. When I first moved to Asia, the device that I brought with me was a OnePlus device, and the OnePlus 3T was amazing at the time. The only issue is that here in the United States, OnePlus isn't that big of a brand, one, and because of that, finding parts, if I were to say drop it and break the screen, finding screen protectors, other accessories, just not as readily available as it is with Google devices. The other thing is Color OS. OnePlus devices don't run Oxygen OS anymore, or don't really run a real version of Oxygen OS, so they're off the table. The next one is Samsung. I think an S23 Ultra would be a really great option. I'm not a fan of the curved sides. The next thing is that I use a Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 almost every day. We've had it in my family now for a little while. My wife uses it for some of her business stuff, and I think the tablet software is fine, but I'm just not a huge fan of One UI. I know some people are, and I really like that Samsung gives you so many tweaks and abilities to customize every single little aspect of your device. I'm just not a fan of the way the software feels to use. Even though Samsung has a bunch of really cool features like the ability to pair two pairs of truly wireless headphones to one device at one time, that's great for travel. The cameras are really, really, really good. The fact that you have the full camera control over the camera's exposure, ISO, shutter speed, stuff like that on Samsung, that really makes an S23 Ultra a compelling device. Another option I've actually been highly considering is getting an iPhone. The problem is that I don't feel like spending the money to get the new USB-C iPhone. On top of that, I don't want to buy an old Lightning iPhone, and I don't want to get sucked into the overall like iMessage world that a lot of iPhone users are in, even though I use an Apple laptop. And I love my Apple laptop. I have a new one now. Another option I've actually given some thought to is Motorola. Motorola is making a push in the United States. If I needed to find parts or if I needed a screen replacement, let's say, a Motorola device would have some support for that. The problem is that the cameras, they're not as good as what I have here, even on my Pixel 7a. And I don't think you guys want to take a downgrade in the quality of the videos that I film on my cell phone. Another thing that I've kind of thought about was a folding, flipping phone. The problem is that I have no need for the extra screen real estate most of the time. And I put my devices through hell. Like, I use my phone mounted to my bicycle in a quad lock case when I go cycling, and I use it to track distance, calories, like all that stuff. And sometimes I drop my bike, and I don't really want to have a more fragile phone. Before anyone suggests a brand from China like Xiaomi or anything from Oppo, no. The bands, more often than not, aren't fully compatible with the bands that we have here in the United States, and I'm not dealing with terrible software support, nor am I dealing with ROMs, bootloaders, unlocking stuff, simply because I need it to work with all my banking apps, I need to work with all my mobile payment apps, and I need the phone to just work in the state that it comes from the factory. Now, I briefly considered getting a Nothing phone, but Nothing phones, again, are not supported here in the United States. I would have less opportunities to get cases and accessories sent to me from brands wanting to do collaborations. And if I had an issue with the Nothing phone, I have no kind of software warranty support. I have no warranty support, period. Software-wise, it's basically stock Android, and yeah, it's a Nothing phone. I have nothing really else to say about it other than it's kind of a meme. Now, the last phone that I've been considering, which has actually been the most tempting, more than any of the other models, Asus Zenfone 10. Maybe you're surprised, maybe you're not surprised, maybe you didn't know that Asus makes phones. But a Zenfone, I feel like, would be a great option. It's got the awesome gimbal stabilization on the main camera. Although the color science that Asus uses isn't as good as Google, it has got a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 2, really fast. Has pretty good battery life from everything I've read. Smaller screen size, which isn't necessarily a turn off. I've been loving the size of my Pixel 7a. But again, I'm stuck with what will my wife think of that phone when it comes to her turn to use it, if she ends up taking it, and what kind of support will I have in the US if I have issues, hardware issues with the device, and what kind of accessories are there on the market, because I would want to work with like some case manufacturers to do some sponsored videos, some collab videos. I know Ringay has already said that they want to give me some content, some cases for content for the Pixel 8 Pro. So I don't know if the Zenfone 10 is really an option. When I combine that with the fact that right now, when I pre-order a Pixel 8 Pro, they'll give me $300 trade-in for the Pixel 6a that I currently have, plus a Pixel Watch 2, which I'll just sell for $200. That's a total of a $500 discount back to me on the purchase of that device. $500 for a Pixel 8 Pro, to me, seems like a great deal. And I only get those special financing and those offers if I get a Pixel 8 Pro. I don't get that same kind of discount, those same kind of offers if I were to buy something like a Zenfone or a Samsung or anything really other than an iPhone. Don't really have much in the way of trade-in options. So at the $500 price point, I think the Pixel 8 Pro is a great option. But I don't necessarily like the fact that it is the only option. Maybe I'm just trying to justify why I would buy a Pixel 8 Pro in this video, but I don't necessarily like the idea of spending $1,100 after tax on a device that is very much going to be an very incremental upgrade from my old Pixel 7 Pro. The Pixel 7 Pro is a great device. One of my biggest complaints with it was the fact that it had a curved display and I had to get that display replaced twice. Once because I broke it, the second time was because the display that was used to fix it was defective. Now, let's say I was in the situation and I had enough expendable income to just purchase a Zenfone to test it and then sell it later, or if I didn't need to give up my Pixel 7a, I would probably be okay with trying something different. But because I have a good idea of what the Samsung software is like, because again, I use a modern Samsung tablet, and I know that I kind of don't like it that much, even though it's got a lot of features that I do like, the Samsung thing is just kind of out of the window. And so some of this comes down to being in the ecosystem, although Google doesn't have much of an ecosystem. Some of this comes down to the fact of having personal preferences for stock Android or the way I might like things to function. And then some of it just comes down to the fact that in North America, we are kind of limited for what brands we have, what kind of support we have from some of those brands. Because if I was in Europe, I would definitely consider a Nothing Phone 2 more seriously because I'd be able to get parts if something happened. I could be able to get more cases, etc. I really want an Asus Zenfone. Maybe I'll look for some of them used. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and pre-order the Pixel 8 Pro.